Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today I'm just going to go over some of the ideas, some of the thoughts that we can use as good food for our brain, good food for our thinking, good food for our thought. Because just like the body, when you put in good food, the body is healthy. When you put in bad food, when we consume junk food, we get sick. The same thing as mind. The law of association is very important for our mind. When we feed our mind with good ideas, good information, good thinking, proper way of thinking, then the mind can be good mind, have proper thinking, have wholesome mental activities. So what we want to feed our mind based on law of association, we want to feed wholesome idea, wholesome thinking, wholesome view. So okay, so here's one. We are not happy. When we are not happy, when we are stressed about things in life, okay, we have issue. Okay, so in this talk right here, we are talking about mental issue, about things that the mind, our ego mind doesn't like. Our ego mind have issue with something, with some kind of event, with somebody. Okay, that somebody can be anybody. Okay, as we all know, small or big, young or old, does not matter. So when we are stressed, when we are not happy, when we are sad or whatnot, okay, it means that our mind does not like something. Our mind encounters something that it doesn't want to encounter. Okay, the mind want to push it away or don't want to accept what it is that it is experiencing, that it is encountering. So when our mind is in that situation, okay, agitated, disturbed, anxious, okay, shy, worry or whatnot, okay, so of course it dictates the mood, our mood, right? Our mood tend to be grouchy. Our mood is not pleasant, and people can tell, okay, when we are grouchy, when we are not pleasant to be around. So people would try to, if they can, keep the distance away from you. And it's the same thing for you, for all of us. If we see somebody not in a good mood, we probably want to try to stay away for the time being, okay, so that we don't get burned in a way. So for us, when we are in a bad mood, right, quote unquote bad mood, because our mind is disturbed, because our mind is agitated, all right, under stress, under pressure and whatnot, what do we do? Okay, what do we do? So the answer to that question is, of course, we have to have some kind of study, can understand about this answer. But the answer to this question is that we have to become aware of it. Okay, becoming aware of it. So what does that mean, becoming aware? It means that we can sort of step back from that emotion. Okay, because when the mind is not aware, it means that when we are in a bad mood, okay, when we are under stress or whatnot, that's what we think, that's how we feel, and that's how we identify ourselves with. Okay, I'm mad, I'm not happy, I am this, I am that. So when that happened, we already lost in that I am. Okay, because right now that I am is like the like a star in the show, that things happen to us, to that I. Okay, so once we identify ourselves with that I, then we already lost the battle. But by becoming aware of what the mind is experiencing, that is a total different things. Okay, when the mind is in a bad mood, okay, have unwholesome activities going on inside, okay, we become aware that, oh, this mind is experiencing unwholesome experience. So now we sort of like take ourselves out from this experience, from this mood that the mind has. All right, and that's the difference. The difference is, instead of being upset, being angry, dislike something, all right, we, the practitioner, okay, have to practice so that when this emotion arise within, we are able to catch it real fast right then and there, and observe it and know it, that the mind is not happy, the mind is not in a good place. Okay, so that is the critical point. All right, when we can do that, then we can become aware of our very own mind, what the mind is doing. Okay, and that is a very important point that we need to keep practicing, keep observing, right? So throughout our day, that is the practice that we all need to do. Observe the experiences that goes through our mind, and observe the mind. What does our mind react? How does our mind respond? And we just watch our very own mind. All right, so we watch our very own mind, and we can, instead of identify ourselves as that mood, as that emotion, we just acknowledge it. All right, we acknowledge, oh, there's anger emotion arise, there's the mind is disturbed, is stressed, the mind does not like something. Okay, and the mind want this, the mind wants that. So by becoming aware of that mood of the mind, by becoming aware of the emotion of the mind, then we sort of detach ourselves from that emotion, and we just observe it, observe what the mind is doing, observe what the mind wants, what the mind dislikes, right, what the mind is going through. Right, so you just observe that by just step back in a way, right, step back in the mind. You don't have to physically step back, but in the mind you sort of pull yourself back from the emotion and watch it. that's how we deal, right? That's how we do when we experience the different kind of emotion. This is what we do. We observe it and just see what the mind is doing. And by observing the mind, and you can just tell the mind, say, oh, okay, the mind, you are in a bad mood now based on what it is, right? Like dislike, whatnot. Okay, and then just observe that mind and see how long that mood goes. Okay, and of course that depends on understanding, depending on study the lesson that we have learned. Okay, as we can go further, that okay, the mind is not happy because of what is the reason, and then we just go down the track, go down the road of the mind, and you can see that it's all about the desire, or it's about hatred, or it's about anger, or one of those unwholesome mental activity that we all have. So as we observe the mood of the mind, we can see that if as long as we can keep ourselves detached from that emotion, we can see that emotion will pass. Okay, after a little bit of time, that emotion will pass, and in the meantime we are preserving our own peace. Okay, instead of going along with the mood, instead of go along with the disturbed mental activity, we just observe those activity in the mind, and then after a while the mind, that mood, that mind disappears, and it goes to grab on something else. Okay, so that's how we deal with an unhappy or a disturbed mind. So that is just one of the reminder that of course we have gone over this many times previously, but this is one of the most important points. So it's a good thing to remind ourselves over and over again, because repetition is a great things to do, sometimes, so that we don't forget, all right, of what is it that we need to practice. All right, continuing to the next subject. There is nothing more devastating than a mind that with wrong view. Okay, so, and in another word, there's also the saying of the Buddha. The Buddha said, an ignorant person has himself or herself as his or her own enemy. Okay, so in another word, when we conduct our life based on ignorance, it tends to lead us into not having good result because of our ignorance. Okay, ignorance can lead people to do such a unwholesome deed that can harm himself or herself and also can harm others, because it is based on ignorance. And that is one of the things that we have covered before. So this is just a review of what we had covered. So of course, with an ignorant mind, the mind, when the mind is ignorant, the mind has or develop wrong view. All right. So when the mind develop a wrong view, of course the mind will say will produce wrong speech, and it will produce wrong action, which leads to unwholesome karma, right? Unwholesome action. So right view and wrong views are very important to understand. Okay, what is right view, what is wrong view. All right. Okay, moving on. Again, it's related to what I just said. The next thing that I like to go over is sort of a question that we can ask ourselves. Okay, what is a good person? How do we define what a good person is? Okay, a lot of people, we tend to say a good person is a person who help me. Okay, the person who has assist me, help me during my difficult times and all that. Okay, so that is one good thing to identify a good person. Okay, so a good person, of course, in order for a person to do good, right? So whether it's through speech, right, whatever the way he or she speak, or whatever that he or she does, perform some kind of action, right? So a good person means that the person has to start out with a good heart, good intention, right? The person does not have intention to harm people, to hurt people. Okay, the person intention is to help others. The person intention is to offer people good deeds. Okay, so for example, a good person would not open their mouth, and say or yell harsh words. Okay, because that is not good. And I think and I believe we all can acknowledge that, we all can agree to that a good person does not cuss. A good person who has a good heart, okay, who has a compassion, has loving kindness within, that good person, when he or she open his or her mouth, only good words, only good speech come out with the right proper tone, soft voice, when we can feel that. Okay, good person do not scream at us. Good person does not yell at us. Okay, so as a good person, good speech come out. And the same thing, of course, activities, action that the good person do does not hurt or harm other people. What they do is to help others, okay, to make others better, okay, to offer assistance, to just basically assist each other in a good way. Okay, so of course that is just like one of the Buddha uttering. The Buddha said the mind precedes all things, right? In the Dhammapada. So that's what it means. A good person has to start with a good heart, okay, a good mind, and from that, good speech and good action come out. All right. So in also one of the uttering of the Buddha, the Buddha said, a person is holy, it is because his or her mind is holy. Okay, so that's mean pretty much the same thing. Okay, when you see what we call a noble person or a holy person, it is because the person has a noble or a holy mind. The mind that has no ill will, okay, the mind that is not disturbed, the mind that is at peace, the mind that has loving kindness and compassion. That's the mind of a good person. All right, so from there you can practice it, all right, by offering it to others, all right, all around us. Okay, becoming a good person, it's just like becoming a big tree standing tall in the sun, so that passerby can take refuge under our shade. Okay, the good person offer shade to the travelers, okay, to take a break and all that. And of course, we as a parents or sibling, or older sibling, or friends, or good friends, okay, we speak the right speak to people around us. We do the right thing to people around us, and of course we practice the 5 precepts, right? With all this kind of practice, a good person offers a lot of comfort to people around. And why is it that people would not want to come close to us when we offer that kind of cool shade, that kind of compassion to people? Of course that would attract people, okay, like-minded people who needs help, and and good person is more than glad to offer a hand. All right, the next topic that I want to go over a little bit, okay, is, all right, let's talk about rental property. All right, so that's sound kind of off subject, right? But it's a rental property. So let's say one time or another we rent a place to live, okay, whether you are renting now or you have rented before. In either case, when we rent a piece of property to live, all right, we pay the rent every month or every week or every other weeks, depending on the arrangement. So when the time comes, we pay a bill. Okay, if we don't pay a bill, we know what happened. So when the time comes, when the bill is due, we pay our rent. Now, day in and day out, every week or every month, we pay a bill. and the money is gone, right? We give it to the landlord, it's gone. If we give it to the landlord, it's gone. It's not coming back. All right? It's not coming back. So at the end of the rental, let's say you move to another place, we do not get any money back, not a penny, nothing. We got to live in that place during that period of time, right? After that, we leave that place. The landlord would not return the money back to us, all right? Not a penny, not even a penny, because rent is rent. Now, in a similar way, looking at our very own body, okay? Our very own body, if you look at it as a rental property, okay, you will see the similarity. This body here, okay, where our mind is, the mind exists in a way, right, based on the well-being of the body. As long as the body functions, the body is alive, the mind is there, okay? So the body requires the rent also. What is the rent that the body requires, that the body asks from us? Food, right? Water, right? So those are the most two fundamental things that the body requires. Food, right? All kinds of different kinds of food, doesn't matter what, we just say food. And we give food to the body 2-3 times a day, okay? It goes in, gone. It goes in, gone. On a daily basis, we are paying rent to the body, okay? And we know if we don't pay rent to the body, we know what happened to the body, right? The body just quit. So it is the duty of the mind to move, to make the body move, to find food, to feed the body, right? Okay, so the body is the landlord, and the so-called mind operating that body is the tenant, okay? And the two together go out and search for food. So we give food to this body as just like a piece of, like a rental property. And what do we get from this rental property, the body? What we get is to have a mind that keeps functioning, right? Without the body, the mind does not exist. So the mind depends on the body, and the body, of course, depends on the mind to help it survive, to help it live by finding food, right? So we pay rent to the body on a daily basis, okay? And does the body say thank you? No, the body does not say thank you or anything. The body is an independent entity in a way that all it does is that it requires food in order for it to function, period, nothing else, okay? So throughout the body's life, the mind works together with it to keep it going, right? Okay, So it's is it an investment? Okay, it's so a rental property is not an investment, right? At the end of the rent, we walk away from the rental property empty-handed. Okay, now for the body, at the end of the operation, when the body can no longer function, what does the mind get out of it? The mind get nothing. Okay, it's empty. Okay, yes. So that's the word that we heard before. The phrase that we heard is that we come into this world empty-handed, and we leave this world empty-handed also. That's what it means. When the body stops functioning and it's time to leave the property or time to leave the body, it's empty, it's finished, and it's done. We take nothing with us. We get nothing from this body. All right. So in the meantime, in between birth and death, we may experience some kind of pleasure in between here and there. Okay, that's no denying. But as we all know, everything is impermanent and nothing stays the same. So that's all there is to it. And with that, the moral of this little talk is that do not be attached to this rental property. Okay, it's a rental property that the mind occupies for a time being, and then it's done. Okay, so that's what I have for today. I hope it is something that worth your time spent listening to it. Okay, until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma, and I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.